The Federal Reserve has completely lost control over the economy. It has lost control over inflation, and it seems like there is absolutely nothing that the Fed can do to bring down inflation. Back in the days, yes, inflation would get out of control, but the Fed could absolutely do something about it, like raising the interest rates. And I want you to go back to 2022 and look at the inflation we had back then, which was about 9.1%. Yes, this inflation was very catastrophic, but this inflation was entirely in the hands of the Federal Reserve. There was something that the Fed could do, like hike the interest rates, and we saw how that impacted prices. Prices actually went down to as low as 2.5%. But now I want you to zoom in and look at this data. You can see that the lowest inflation we have recorded was 2.4% back in February of this year. Since then, you see that inflation got out of control to 3.8%. We're basically witnessing a reversing of the inflation. What if I told you that this 3.8% is absolutely just the beginning? What we're about to witness, that inflation will actually cross 4%, maybe even 5%, maybe even 6%. And I'm not talking about some kind of distant future like 5 years from now. I'm just talking about a future that's about to happen in the next couple of months, in the next 6 months, most likely by the end of this year. And the only problem here is that there is literally nothing that the Fed can do to actually fix this problem. Yes, there is a probability that Kevin Warsh will raise the interest rates. And it's really interesting or strange that Donald Trump has actually accused Jay Powell of not lowering interest rates, and now he's replacing it with somebody that will hike the interest rates given the current circumstances. There is literally expectations by experts that Kevin Warsh will actually increase the interest rates, and he will be left with no other option. And if you ask the White House, the White House will tell you that inflation will actually come down when the Strait of Hormuz is going to happen. Because this inflation that we see over here, this is not being driven by consumers. Usually inflation is when people are spending so much money. And that huge demand in the economy is basically driving prices higher. So it's the job of the Fed to limit that demand. But in this case, the economy isn't doing as great as it was in the past. There isn't so much demand. In fact, consumer sentiment is actually low in the economy. So what exactly is driving this inflation? Well, let's just look at the data for the last month. You can see that gasoline prices have increased by 30%. Jet fuel has increased by 20%. And there are airlines that actually file for bankruptcy. The biggest expense that airlines usually have is to get them fuel. And jet fuel is not actually as cheap as you might actually think. And because there is a shortage of oil in the market, suddenly if you're an airline and you know that the shortage of oil will continue being in the economy because one of the most important choke points where 20% of the global energy used to pass is now closed. So airline prices have risen. And the interesting thing about oil is that it's not just going to increase the prices in the gas station. Today we're living in this very hyper economy where everything is delivered. For example, every time you order something from Amazon, it must be shipped from one place into another, from a plane to a truck, from a truck to a van, from a van to a car, and then suddenly it will reach to your doorsteps. And all of that is going to incur gasoline costs. So if we have rising gasoline prices, you can definitely expect prices to increase for every single product in the economy, which is why inflation has actually reached 3.8% this year. But there's just one simple problem in this equation, that the strait is not going to be open anytime soon. The Strait of Hormuz is closed because there is a war going on, and it's very easy to start the war, but very difficult to end them. And I simply don't see a single reason for Iran to simply say, we are going to open the Strait of Hormuz and give you everything you want, the United States of America. I can imagine that kind of a scenario. And the United States will never be able to go back to the previous status quo because this war was started by the United States. And if you're the one who started the war, which means that you are now an aggressor in this war, so if you can't win this war, at the same time you're not ready to accept Iranian terms, then the logical conclusion would be is that this trade is not going to open anytime soon. So even if you take it according to the White House, inflation is not coming down anytime soon. But this is the biggest problem that I don't see much people actually talk about it. There is a hidden time bomb that not many people have actually exposed. If you look at oil prices, there was an oil shock back in March when oil prices, or when the war actually started. So oil prices went from $55 to as high as $120 at their peak. But what if I told you that this shock that you saw back in March was entirely artificial? The oil market isn't the way that you think. These prices are not just because people are buying and selling oil. These are future contracts. So everybody can trade oil. Even if you're sitting in your house, even if you're lying on your couch, you can literally start trading oil because you're not actually buying the real oil, you're buying contracts that guarantees you that oil. So as long as you sell that contract when it's actually going to expire, you're not obligated to receive that oil. So if you're a trader, if you want to make money out of this crisis that's happening in the Middle East, you can start buying oil contracts and sell them because there is panic in the market. So the rise in the oil prices that we saw over here was an artificial increase in oil prices because traders wanted to make a lot of money out of it. And now because you're seeing oil prices are going down, primarily because traders are not actually confident about the future of this contract or about the future of this war. What if there is going to be a peace between Iran and the United States? What is going to happen to our contracts? But unfortunately, that piece is not going to happen. And the reason that we haven't actually had a real oil problem in the world is because we have strategic oil reserves. Every single country, or pretty much every single country in the world, actually keeps a certain amount of oil in their reserves. So if there is such kind of a crisis in the world, they will start releasing these strategic reserves. China has done that, the United States has done that, Japan, the European Union, and many other nations in the world. And every single day, we're basically burning 6.5 million barrels per month from the strategic reserves. So these strategic reserves are being depleted every single day. So if in a single day we're burning 6.5 million barrels, in 10 days we're burning 65 million barrels, and in 1 month we're burning more than 200 million barrels. So if this conflict will last for another 3 months, we will burn another 600 million barrels. And if this conflict will last for another 6 months, we're going to burn 1.2 or 1.3 billion barrels. And that is literally the entire strategic reserves that is left in the world. So basically, in 6 months from now, there is not going to be a single drop of oil in the strategic oil reserves, and that's when the real oil problem is going to happen. That's when you can expect oil prices to go beyond $200. And the only reason that this is not happening right now is because everybody is looking at the negotiations between the United States and Iran, that there might be some kind of understanding. In fact, there has been lately reports that the United States and Iran might actually sign a memorandum of understanding. And that basically means that there is not going to be any kind of a formal peace, but at least there is going to be some kind of understanding between us and you, and the trade is going to happen, and that oil will start flowing to the rest of the world. Unfortunately, that is not happening because while they are negotiating these agreements, on the other side, the war is actually taking place again. The war is actually restarting. This kind of news can push away traders. So if you're a trader and you're seeing this kind of news, you're less likely to actually start speculating on the price of oil, because what if these reports are actually true and there is going to be a memorandum of understanding? So if you're not taking that kind of a risk, then oil prices are not going to spike. But it doesn't actually solves the fundamental problem that the world will run out of strategic reserves in a few months from now. So when that is going to happen in the next few months, and oil prices will start rising. So if there won't be anything signed, for example, by August, so oil prices will rise probably to $140, $150. If nothing will be signed by the end of the year, then oil prices will rise to $180 or $200. It's not going to fundamentally collapse the US economy or the global economy, but that shortage of oil will slow down the economy, because now if you are a business, if you're a factory, you have to save oil. You have to use that oil strategically because you have to cut your expenses. Nobody wants to go out of business. And that's why if you look at the projections, If we assume that tomorrow the Strait of Hormuz will be open, inflation by the end of the year still will be at around 3.2%. If the strait will be closed, then we're expecting inflation to be between 6 to 8%, which is literally almost as bad as it was back in 2022. And if there is going to be a ground invasion, then of course expect inflation to rise to more than 10%. So even if ground invasion is not going to happen, we can still expect inflation to be as high as it was back in 2022. But this time, unlike it was in 2022, when the Fed could increase the interest rate and bring down inflation, this time there is nothing that the Federal Reserve can do. The Federal Reserve can simply watch. Yes, the Fed can increase interest rates, but that will make the entire situation much worse because it is going to put more pressure on the US government. Why? Higher interest rates means that the US government has to pay more in interest payments, and that means that less money will be spent on you. That means that the US government will have to borrow even more money. And here's the problem is that every single time the US government is borrowing more money, it is taking money out of the pool of capital in the economy, which means that now less money is available for people for mortgages. Less money will be available for auto loans. Suddenly, interest rates for everybody in the economy is going to rise. And this is the problem that this conflict is actually creating. And there is very little that the Federal Reserve can actually do to fix this problem. Even if the Fed will reverse everything and will raise back the interest rates to 5.5%, I want to ask you a very simple question. Are you actually ready for 5.5% interest rates? Are you ready for these companies to lay off employees? If you have a job, you have to be very careful because the next 6 months are going to be extremely dangerous, and more companies will look at their balance sheets, will look at their expenses, and will realize that our costs are rising and there is very little we can do. And if the Fed will actually bring back interest rates to 5.5%, that will increase the cost of servicing their own debt. If you pull out the balance sheet of any business right now, you will see there is debt. And always they keep refinancing that debt. And that means that if the cost of debt for them will continue rising, they will have to start cutting costs. They will have to increase the number of layoffs. When you look at this, you realize that the government isn't actually trying to solve your problems. It's not actually trying to make life more affordable for you. If the government has a certain type of geopolitical interest that it wants to achieve, it is going to do that, and you will be the person who will actually pay the price for it. And that's why if you're an average person and you're not striving to become financially independent, if you haven't actually built your investment portfolio that can actually shield you from these kind of crises, you will be the first person who is going to suffer. You might lose your job, prices will rise so much that life will become unaffordable, and all the money that you're paying in taxes, the government will use that money to pay in interest payments instead of spending that money back to you. And that's why if you want a step-by-step strategy on how you start investing, how you build an investing portfolio that will get you to financial freedom, and if you want to know what are the top stocks that you should be buying right now that are going to be winning stocks in this economy, then you can jump on the 101 strategy session with my team. My team will look at your situation and will help you to come up with an investing strategy that is specifically tailored to you. And the first 100 people who are going to use the link in the description of this video will get that investing session completely for free. The link is in the description of this video.